hey! What's up, Squadron? Aviation has given me a ton of amazing experiences. And more importantly, it's introduced me to a whole new family of friends. Join us tonight because we're cleared direct for some hangar flying. I'm Ryan Dembroski, and this is SuperAero Live. What is up, SuperAero Squadron, Av Geeks, Airplane Nerds, all that stuff? Great to have you tonight on an what is it? It's Wednesday. I gotta say it that way. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for SuperAero Live. Really excited to introduce you guys to my special guest tonight. But first, I hope you got your taxes in. I didn't. I had to file for an extension because I'm waiting on a form called a K-1. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. Anyways, so get your taxes in, get a refund, spend it on an airplane. Let's go through the list here. Obviously, you guys know every week I ask you the same thing. If you like what I'm doing here, be sure to share the video. That's the biggest thing. You can subscribe, you can like, but sharing's the hugest thing. And then Patreon, is another way you can support the channel. And Patreon supporters got hats coming to you. Most of you guys will probably get them tomorrow, which is really cool. And some other people have asked about where they can get the hats. I'm not selling a lot of them. I didn't think anyone's actually gonna want them. So I gotta go, I'll do a pre-order thing. We'll get some hats out. You guys make me so happy when you make me think my dumb ideas are good. So anyway, if you're looking for more SuperAero Live, last week we had Dark Arrow, the company that's making the Dark Arrow 1, which just blew my mind. Carbon fiber kit aircraft that I think I did some calculations for my home airport to Key West. I could fly there for $200, which is insane. And then next week is Spirit of Aviation week. And I hope that you guys will go to the schedule thing that EAA put out. There's actually an interview that I did for Spirit of Aviation week. It's, I think, Wednesday. You can sign up to watch that. I'm going to try to catch it, obviously. It'd be cool to see you guys there. And then also, we're going to do a show Wednesday night with EAA talking about everything they're doing about Spirit of Aviation Week. So I'm really pumped for it. Obviously, bummed that we couldn't all be together at Oshkosh this year. But this is going to be kind of cool. I think it's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be fun to see everybody kind of come together digitally. And yeah, anyway, that's just me talking about a bunch of stuff. Folks, let me introduce you to my new friend, Eric Hayes. There he is.
What's up, everybody?
Waiting patiently while I did maybe the longest intro ever tonight.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I'm super pumped to chat tonight. I think we got some folks who know you in the chat. Let's dig in there real quick. And I should say, sorry, SoCal Flying Monkey, case in point, the monkey. There's almost a monkey on your back joke there. It's on your shoulder.
It's close. A monkey on your shoulder.
Monkey on your shoulder. So let's just say hi to a couple people real quick, and then we'll dig in. Waukesha Pilot, always here. Great to see you. Bender's here. Dude, Krueger's here from all the way up north. I don't know if I should actually say that. He's up north. Zero MGA. I don't know if I recognize that name. Great to have you. Or maybe that's a Flying Monkey name. Who else is here tonight? Dude, you guys, I love how you get together and chat every week while we get ready to go. Gabriel's here. Dude, so many people in the chat chatting right now. I think 782 Papa's here. 782 Papa would love to hear what you thought about the show last week with the experimental aircraft. I thought that thing was pretty dope. Marty's here. Zach Sherman's here. Dude, everyone is here. You guys have been talking a lot. I could scroll for days, and that's not very good television. So, Maxim DS is here. Gary's here. Guys, awesome to see you all here. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading names. Eric, first of all, there's so many things we could nerd out about tonight. Obviously, we're here to nerd about planes, but first, I'm wondering if I should just play a clip from your channel to introduce if I can't believe anyone hasn't seen your stuff. You're kind of blowing up right now.
Yeah, man, go for it.
All right.
Yeah. Do I need to set this up?
Should we pretend like it's like a real professional thing, and you could set up this clip of your aircraft renovation?
Yeah, so I guess this is probably I made a video about the renovation of a PA-32 Piper Cherokee 6 that we bought a couple years ago, and it was like a real beater. It was just totally run out engine. Needed paint. It needed everything. So I made a video about the renovation. It's probably I think it's the most popular video on my channel. And this is kind of the end of the video.
Rock on. Okay, let's see if I can work the switcher here.
It's a stable IFR platform, super comfortable for long trips, relatively economical to own, and pretty easy to fly in and out of almost any airport. We've had amazing adventures all around Southern California.
This is my favorite time to fly.
I've gone as far as Sedona, the Grand Canyon,
It's amazing.
and Seattle, and seen some great sights out of these windows, like Catalina Island, Mount Shasta, Crater Lake, and Mount St. Helens. And we're just getting started. This channel represents the next step in my aviation journey, and that's sharing what I've learned with you guys,
Just press the button, I let go of the yoke.
along with taking some new adventures together. I'm a professional cinematographer, and at work, I'm shooting and creating for clients, agencies, and directors. And that's definitely super fun and rewarding. But with these videos, I'm creating exactly what I want to create. Flying videos that I would want to watch. Aviation is unique in that it connects a lot of us who otherwise might seem very different from each other. It's been super fun connecting with so many in the aviation community while publishing these videos. So if you want to come along on the journey with us, subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to support this channel and future videos, become a member on Patreon. We're going to have fun over there. Thanks to everyone who helped me out along the way. Until next time, thanks for coming along on the journey with us.
Awesome, dude. I so much to talk about in there, but that's your channel kind of in a nutshell. Is just
Yeah, I
like,
think
go ahead.
Because it just kind of gives you an idea of where I'm coming from on the channel, which is basically like I shoot a lot of stuff professionally for a living, and sometimes I shoot commercials and I shoot this stuff and then it goes out and I don't know if people see it or not. So was flying and seeing all these other YouTube channels, and I thought, man, this would be something really fun to do and a way to like stay creative and have a connection with other aviators and have a connection with the audience. So that's one of the things that really gets me fired up, is like doing this creative stuff on my own terms, and also having an interaction with the audience that sees it has been super fun. So it's different than my work in that way, and really fulfilling in that way. So I've been really enjoying it. Been really enjoying connecting with a lot of other people who are passionate about airplanes. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's actually, you hit on something that's really interesting, is like, and I think you probably have worked on bigger things than I have in the film industry, but you're like weirdly detached from the stuff you make, right? Like we
Yeah.
make a thing, and then like for me, like I see it on TV, and I'm like, oh, cool, there's commercials selling widgets or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you never get any real feedback about what it is. So that's the same reason I think it's cool that we have a similar thing there in terms of like being able to connect to people. Speaking of connecting to people, Zach Sherman says, I started watching SoCal Flying Monkey only like 2 months ago. Eric's channel has blown up. Zach's kind of a regular on this show every week, and he's working on his private pilot. So Zach, keep it up. And then Cozy Life says, hey, Eric, it's Gerald.
From Whiteman? Gerald from Whiteman?
WHP is what he says.
Yeah, WHP in the house. That's Whiteman. That's my home airport.
Oh, rock
That's awesome.
on.
Yeah, well, and Zach, thanks for watching. It's so great to hear from people who have been watching from the beginning of the channel, which wasn't that long ago, but I just started putting a few videos up of our little family adventures, and I'm trying to like elevate it every time and use all my bag of tricks as a filmmaker and a professional cinematographer, whatever I can do to bring like the highest quality aviation content, because for me it's really fun to make really good looking stuff and really polished stuff and tell stories more than anything. The storytelling aspect of it is super fun and rewarding. So I'm all about trying to build the quality and tell great stories.
And I think the things that I'm really drawn to, we're going to talk about like airplanes story, like we're going to talk about airplane stuff, but like what I'm really drawn to with your content, obviously that quality is incredible. I mean, some people are in the chat here saying, like Bender saying, Eric's video editing is second to none. Like, I totally agree. I'm actually a little jealous at how good you are at editing. But I think part of that is the storytelling, and I'm wondering if I could show a clip. Actually, this one, one of your kids is in it, and it's the way you told this. It's part of the renovation story. Maybe I'll just play it so I don't give it away.
Okay.
I started looking at the online classifieds. My super patient and kind airplane mechanic buddy Don in Florida was helping me look, and he said, "Hey, I think I found a plane that could be a great blank slate." It was a high time, used to be cargo hauler that had a run-out engine at just under 2,000 hours, terrible avionics, a dreadful interior, and bad paint. Don was like, "If the airframe is sound, it could make for an interesting project. I can restore this thing. How patient are you?" I was like, "I'll make the spreadsheets in California, and you do the work in Florida." And he was like, "Okay." Don swung by the airplane in Tennessee and inspected it, looking for major airworthiness issues that would be deal breakers. He said, "It looks like it was ridden hard and put away wet, but it's all good." I negotiated the price with the seller to just under $30,000. Don picked up the plane and flew it home to his place in Florida and began the work.
You guys can't hear. We were both laughing watching that on our end. Tell me about that. Like, obviously, that's your daughter.
Yeah, that's my daughter. She was a super good sport, and I guess it was like the pandemic. We all got locked down, and I was like, man, I can't really fly too much. There's not a lot of places to go, but I wanted to make a video, and I was like, I really want to make a video about the renovation of this airplane. And I was like, that's going to be boring. It's like, you want to watch a guy talk about the stuff that they renovated on an airplane. I'm like, I want to make this thing like interesting and fun. And I guess maybe we had been watching Drunk History, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just do it in that style. And actually, like, Drunk History, one of the creators is a friend of mine. We shot a bunch of commercials together a while ago, one also in that style. So I don't feel too bad about ripping it off a little bit. I hope he's not upset. But yeah, so yeah, we came up with that convention and then just kind of ran with it. And family was a really good sport, and it turned out to be really fun. It was just really fun putting it together, and just getting into all the little details of it was really fun.
So people have a couple questions about this. Zach's wanting to know, how'd you get that last shot?
So the shot of my daughter flying the airplane was, so she's been flying since she was 3. She's solo now. It's actually, that's what I tell people, but she's in the co-pilot seat, and I'm flying it in the pilot seat. And then, so we shot that with the GoPro, and then right after that, we went and we landed, and we got out of the plane, and I used the tow bar and shot a clean plate of the seats and rotated it around all different directions. And then later on, I went back and found, the one that the lighting matched the best, and I cut out the seat and I tracked the airplane, and the other one I covered up myself with that empty seat, and then I colored it all to match. It was basically like a visual effects shot. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. The whole thing's a lot of work, definitely. I kind of feel like there are no real shortcuts, and I want to make the best stuff, and I'm willing to take the time to make it, good, because I'm making this for my own creative satisfaction also. You know what I mean? I'm not just trying to pump out stuff. I want to make cool stuff. Right. So yeah, I take the time and do it, and that shot was really fun to do. And I'm not a visual effects artist or anything, so I'm just I'm learning new things as I go. I'm not an editor, so I'm learning. I have edited before, but that's not what I do in films. But so I'm just learning as I go. I'm on YouTube, watching the tutorials, and it's super fun.
782 Papa says magic.
Movie magic. I probably should have just said it was movie magic.
No, I mean, I think you totally. I think you fooled Zach. That there was a little bit of a debate in the chat. He was like, "But how could he do it?"
Yeah.
So I think it was very well done. And you keep saying you're not an editor, but your attention to detail and all that stuff is really, really strong. So.
Thanks. It was actually I did a making of that shot, and I put it on a Patreon site. Oh. So my Patreon site it's not only going to be behind the scenes about how I do some of this stuff for like creating flying videos, but I am going to be I have a couple videos on there about like how to like do some color correction for balancing shots inside the airplane looking out. And then I have this one and stuff about 360 camera used for flying videos. It's all about shooting airplane videos, but there are some like behind the scenes kind of stuff. And that shot is one of the videos. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. And I think the other thing that's interesting is you said something earlier about like you're doing this for yourself and you don't want to just like put out whatever. And I think that's what's really interesting about YouTube. Talking to some other creators is I think we all kind of feel this pressure to just like, what's the algorithm going to say? Like, how do we find an audience? How do we do whatever? And in the end, though, it all comes back to just like, I want to do something I'm proud of, right? Like you want to, separately for you, like professionally, like if the camera work wasn't great, you'd be like,
I wouldn't be happy with it. It probably, there's so much stuff out there that is like, you know, the cinematography is not the thing, and that's great. And that stuff works, that content works. But like, I get personal satisfaction creatively out of making stuff the way that I want to make it. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing it, is to get that satisfaction and then also to have the connection with the audience. So like those two things together are really cool. And that's what's really cool about YouTube, that you can just put the stuff up there. And I agree with you. Like I find myself going, oh man, what's the title for this thing? You want to get views because you want an audience. Like you don't want to make stuff and not have anybody see it. Like the fun is when people see it and you connect about it. So, but yeah, stressing about like the algorithm kind of takes some of the fun out of it. So I kind of just decided like, I'm just going to make the cool stuff and hope, you know, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. So I'm hoping that works.
Well, I mean, it's certainly working so far. Sarah Clucky, hey Sarah, Jonathan, I don't know if I've said hi to you yet tonight. Good to see you. Phil McGowan's here. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. So let's talk a little bit. I think I should do like an after show, and you and I could do an after show about like making videos. But I think everyone's here mostly to learn about the flying you do. And first, we showed a couple of clips about your airplane, but could you just tell, for people who maybe haven't seen that complete video, I mean, we got a pretty good overview, what's your current flying situation like?
Yeah, so that airplane, we basically redid everything in the Cherokee 6. It was the interior, the paint, engine, and then I had new avionics stack. And then on a second round, after Dynan got the certification for the HDX system, put that in, put a True Track autopilot in. And so it's kind of in a really nice place right now. And we've just been really having a good time flying around and doing day trips and then some weekend trips. Families kind of getting used to like doing some adventures in the airplane around, the Southwest. I did fly to Florida and back to do the HDX and the True Track upgrade last September, which was an amazing flight and really fun.
Well, and that's far for you, right? Because you're literally, as it says in the name of your channel, the opposite side of the country.
Yeah, we're in LA, based in Los Angeles. So yeah, mostly been doing trips here in the Southwest, like Sedona, Grand Canyon, and lots of local stuff here in Southern California. There's a lot of great airports to fly. If you ever get the chance, anybody ever gets a chance to come out here, we have like great weather all the time. And there's a lot of great airports and a variety of destinations. Like you've got Catalina, which is the island. You got Big Bear in the mountains. Then you've got the desert. There's so much cool stuff in the desert. And we're not so far from Arizona and the Grand Canyon and Vegas. I've been to all those places in this airplane, and that's been really fun. But we're getting to a point now where family's comfortable in the airplane, and we really want to go do some longer trips and take like 2 weeks and do like, the airplane road trip where we're just going from one place to the other, and hopefully like up the West Coast, maybe Portland, Seattle, maybe do a Bahamas trip. We have some ideas of what we want to do eventually.
Yeah, and I think what the other thing people are saying in terms of your channel in the chat right now is, actually, here's a great, Phil McGowan says, Eric's family flying life is my future dream life. And
that's awesome.
And I would 100% agree. I think what I've talked a lot about in my when people interview me about this dumb little channel, right? Like, is that for me the big challenge is being like a pilot dad, right? And like I think I look at your stuff and I get excited because I'm like, oh, like if I just hang on, I just hang on till my kids are a little older, and I too could be cool pilot dad. Because right now I'm like, no, I want mommy change a diaper, like. Unicorns and rainbows, and I like unicorns and rainbows, but like I really want to like start doing that adventuring, like memory building. It seems like you guys are building memories.
That's the idea. Like I said it in one of my videos. It was like one of the first ones I did, and it's at the end of the video. It's basically like the airplane is just the excuse to get out and do stuff. It doesn't have to be an airplane. It could be a camper van. It could be a hike. It could be whatever. But the idea is like have this thing that like rallies you to get out and be adventurous, get out and do stuff, get out and explore, get out and keep my kids like curious about the world and seeing new things and like spending time together. Like to me, that's what the airplane and aviation is for our family. And I want to share that with other people and show them also like, hey, you can do this too. Like if you want to have aviation in your life, you can do it. You don't have to have a 6-seater airplane that's renovated. You can have an airplane in a partnership with 4 other people. Like I sold my Cherokee 180 to a group of 5 guys. And that's a really accessible thing. To split an airplane 5 ways really opens up the possibilities for people. So there's so much that I still want to share and say about that kind of stuff with people to inspire them and just be like, hey, I'm doing this thing. Like you can do it too. It gives us a lot of joy and creates a lot of memories for our family. And I think it's awesome. It's so fun.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll second the thing about a flying club. Like you mentioned, that's like another way to get in on it. Like the club I'm flying with right now, if you guys watch it on Instagram, we just got our plane back after being down for like 2 months. But that's 14 people just to make it super accessible, right? Because it's hard, right? Like it's hard to do that. Let's see. I wonder if maybe it would be good. We've been talking about your family, and I don't know where to go next. You sent me like a bunch of amazing videos, and I've got some family adventure videos, but I also have some like real flying specific videos that maybe people
let's
would
do
want
the
to do.
flying specific stuff. I think like because that's also part of the channel. Like yes, it's a family adventure, but I'm also like a nerdy pilot also, and I love talking about like formulas and like, rules of thumb. Like I love that stuff. I think that stuff is super interesting. Well, so part of my channel focuses on that kind of stuff. So
let me ask you, what do you want to talk about, a jacket, or do you want to talk about IFR first?
Let's talk about the IFR stuff.
All right. Let's play this clip about one of your IFR flights.
Okay,
and guys,
cool.
Keep those questions coming in the chat. We'll get to those all in a second.
I don't know if it was the turn combined with the power change to level off at 5,000 feet, adjusting the mixture, maybe made worse by the changing light conditions and the bumpy ride, or occasionally catching glimpses outside of the cloud shapes forming a false horizon. But these things all added up to a confusing feeling of spatial disorientation. The final straw was a course change from the controller and looking away to reprogram the GPS.
Level 1 Bravo Whiskey, proceed right to Kudak, intercept the final approach course.
Direct Kudak and intercept the final approach course with Bravo Whiskey.
I've had the Dynon HDX EFIS system for several months and only flown actual IMC with it now for a few times, so it's definitely not second nature for me, as the analog gauges had become.
Direct Kudak, here we go.
When I looked back at the HDX, for just a split second I was confused by the attitude indicator depiction and representation. It felt like I was in a left turn, when in fact I was turning right. The small bit of unfamiliarity with the digital attitude indicator was enough to momentarily confuse me. Spatial disorientation is really hard to describe. Your body and mind are at total odds, and for me, in that moment, nothing really makes sense. It's like my brain is just frozen on pause, and I need to consciously reset it. I always say to just trust your instruments, and on the ground, this seems like it should be easy. But in the reality of the moment, it's easier said than done. First, you have to actually make sense of your instruments in order to trust them. Those few moments can be difficult. On this flight, it threw me off my game, and pretty soon I was way off my altitude.
November 1 Bravo Whiskey, maintain 5,000 and proceed direct to Kudak.
Okay, I can do 5,000, going to Kudak, 1 Bravo Whiskey.
After ATC's gentle reminder, I managed to get my head back around the situation, slowly get back down to my assigned altitude, and stay on course. But I was off my game for the rest of the flight.
November 1 Bravo Whiskey, descend to maintain 4,000.
So that's one. Thank you for sharing. Like, I think sometimes people are afraid to share challenging moments, right? Because we wanted to always like be the like big tough pilot that always gets everything right. But two, I just love the way that you told that story. Tell us more about that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think like one of my goals also is to represent, or to tell stories in a subjective way based on the actual experience of when you're in it. To me, as a storyteller, that's interesting. As a pilot, that's interesting too, because I wonder like, what's it like to be in that situation? And I want to convey like what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking and what it was like in a little bit of a dramatized way. Like I just want to like use music, use all the tools in the toolbox to convey that feeling. So on that particular flight, yeah, I got a little bit spatially disoriented. I looked back, I was a little unfamiliar with the attitude indicator, and it was like and I tried to express, like tried to break down how I feel, like how that feels in the moment, and try to express it visually. So it was a kind of a fun challenge. But yeah, part of the idea is to show stuff and like, hey, these are my mistakes. Like I make mistakes here, I make mistakes there, and I think like owning your mistakes is a really good way to get better. And I want to be a better pilot, and I think there's definitely like no shame in saying like, yeah, I made a mistake here, and I'll put it out there. It's okay.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of I learned to fly in J3 Cubs, and was sitting around the airfield as a student, and this pilot, old guy pilot, was saying like, "Oh, I've never done a ground loop in a tailway airplane," and like this guy behind us just bursts out laughing because he's like, "Of course you have. Like, there's no way. Like, it's not if, it's when, right? It's not if you're gonna make a mistake. It's when, and it's how we learn from them, right?" Yeah,
and I think like the macho attitude they teach you about that in the hazardous attitudes, and I think like it's just detrimental. It's like, yeah, if you want to, I get criticism about certain things that I do in the videos, and I'm okay with that unless they're like totally not accurate. But yeah, like I was below glide slope in that video, and I don't know why. I still can't figure out like why I didn't correct it, and I'll show that because I think and I get a lot of positive comments from other people like, hey, this happened to me too. Like, thank you for being honest. I think it's just going to help everybody out if you show your mistakes also.
Yeah, absolutely. People are reacting to that in the chat. Single Coil says, "I agree. Spatial disorientation is so hard to describe." Which I'm not IFR rated yet, but I've had a couple moments like that, and I also agree with that. And then Marty, who's a CFI and a sometimes guest in the channel, says that's a great illustration explanation for anyone who hasn't had spatial disorientation before. It's so weird.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is weird, and I found it hard to describe, and I still do. And it's, yeah, your brain just like freezes, and you can't like, what is happening, and you gotta like reset it. That's the best way I can describe, and like try to make sense and like break it down. It just takes some time, and in that time, other things can happen, which is not good.
Right. So some questions coming in. Would you mind answering some more questions about your airplane? Would that be all right?
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, so folks in the chat, I mean, a lot of people are just really impressed with the renovation you did to it. And people are talking about cost. I don't know if you're comfortable talking about cost.
Sure, yeah. So I can
just dig it. There's like 100 comments about it. So not 100. There's like 10 comments.
So I don't have like a breakdown of all the costs. What happened was I had a buddy who is a AMPIA. He lives at an air park in Florida, and he helped me find the plane, and he picked it up, took it back to his place. And we decided on all the things we were going to have to do. So we did a field overhaul of the engine, did the interior through air tax and everything. And the whole project was about 18 months. It was supposed to take about 6, and we just got delayed one thing after another. And I sort of kept track of the costs to a certain extent, but just like on a monthly basis. And he was doing a lot of the work at like a really friendly rate. and we were getting a lot of deals on stuff. And like I had an avionics shop wire everything up, wire the stack up, and then he installed it. But he did a ton of the work. I say like, I put in with the Dynon HDX and the True Track and everything together after all the work, probably put in an additional 90 to 120. That's my range. It's probably somewhere right in the middle of that.
There you go, everybody. Real talk.
90 to 120 additional. So yeah. And I think you look at buying a Cherokee 6 now with glass or anything, and you're going to be 150 or higher. So I feel all right about like the value, getting value back out of it, but that's not really how I would calculate it. We're getting so much enjoyment out of it, and I plan on keeping the airplane for quite a while. So we're going to fly it a lot and just enjoy it. That's the return on investment, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's the other side of it too, right? Is I read this book. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. It's called 9 Lives by a guy named Malvern Gross. He used to be like on the board, EAA board of directors for a while, but he was an accountant. He was an accountant by trade and then pilot, and he would do all this crazy stuff like set speed records across the United States in I don't remember what Cessna he had. I just remember I was reading it as I was getting ready to learn how to fly and kind of make this investment, right? And the biggest thing he said, because he was an accountant, he literally kept track of every penny he spent on aviation his entire life. And at the end of the book, he's like, I spent like this huge amount of money, right? And he was like, oh no. He's like, as an accountant, it makes no sense. And he's like, but I wouldn't, like classic, right? Like I wouldn't retract any or wouldn't change any of it. Like I would spend every single penny again. And yeah, I don't know. Like there's different levels to get into it, right? But I think definitely like the money in always repays itself back with the experiences you have. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, there are definitely ways to do things more affordably. Like you can get a 4-seater or a smaller airplane and get in a partnership and do that and experience aviation and still create all these amazing memories and have excellent, amazing experiences on more of a budget for sure. And or you can do it a different way. And I try not to think too much about, like the bottom line of things, but try to invest in the experience.
Absolutely. And actually, like Ryan Krieger's pointing out, like that price seems very reasonable. Like for what you have there in that aircraft and the capabilities it has and how beautiful it is, like I think it's a totally fair, I think you have value in that, like even if we take the experience side of it out. Like you just have value for what you have versus what it would take to get that in another aircraft.
Yeah, I think like if I sell this, I'll come out okay. I don't know, ahead or behind or whatever, but it's probably reasonable. And when we were doing the renovation of it, I just really looked for the most affordable ways to do everything. And it was a long process and required like a ton of research. I mean, I was pretty obsessive about everything and planning everything out and researching all this works with that. And how the avionics world can be with all the different radio transponder. ADS-B was kind of just coming to be mandated, I guess it was 2 years ago when we finished it. So there still weren't as many options, but yeah, like I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought, but we tried to like save on the cost everywhere that we could, but not anything that would compromise safety.
And separately, I got to tell you, and you're very careful to point this out in your videos, but like your wife is awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. She was really very nervous to get in our first airplane, which was the Cherokee 180, and had a really hard time, like anxiety attacks and stuff. It was a long process to get her comfortable in that. Then we started taking more trips, and then at one point we decided, like, hey, do we want to continue to do these trips in the airplane? and everybody in the family was like, yeah, this has been really cool. We're getting to a comfortable place, so we want to go farther, faster, and take more stuff. And that's when we decided to upgrade to the 6. And since that time, the 6 is a little more stable. She's gotten more and more comfortable, and she's definitely a trooper. I've got a video coming out where there was a little bit of miscommunication, and we were in IMC, and that one's going to, probably the next video is going to be kind of interesting, part of a bigger video adventure that we did. I'm really excited about it, but you'll see that one. And she's a real trooper with that. Definitely grateful she's on board.
I keep thinking back to the renovation video where you're like, I think I want to buy an airplane, and she's like, yeah, all right. Like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but I just was thinking, we have those of us who are flying and have wives typically have very understanding wives.
She was super cool and understanding about it, for sure. Yeah.
But I want to dig into another one of your flights that you sent me, but first, let's just hop into the chat real quick. Wolficorn is here. This is WHP.
What's up, Brian?
Represent.
That's right.
He was on the show a couple weeks ago, guys. Go check that one out. We had a lot of fun chatting about stuff. That actually, that video, no one knows this, but because he's done such he's also in the film industry, and we showed some of his cool videos, and YouTube flagged it for copyright, which I kind of knew was going to happen, but it was worth it. # worth it. I guess Red Bull doesn't want us to show their TV commercials on YouTube. Ryan Krieger says, cheers to the wives that put up with our airplane nonsense. Yeah. I'm going to make sure, how far in are we? We're like 40 minutes in. I'm going to make sure my wife watches this part.
Just this part.
Just watch this part.
Come watch it. Come watch this.
We're just talking about how great you are. She might be in the chat. I don't know. She never says anything. All right, I want to show another thing, and this is actually something you talked to AOPA about. So there's a whole other video people could watch to learn more about this, but this is another video you sent to me just in terms of like interesting things that happen when you are when you're flying with a family.
Sedona traffic, Cherokee 631 Bravo Whiskey is on taxiway Alpha, taxiing runway 21 ahead of the sky lane. Sedona traffic. Doors are closed and latched, you guys?
Yes, I watched theirs outside.
Yours still is in the open position here.
Oh, okay, fine.
Cherokee 631 Bravo Whiskey is taking runway 21 for left crosswind departure Sedona.
It's not shut.
The door?
Yeah, just give me this big coat. Done.
It just occurred to me that we should all get together and just make a TV show.
Yeah.
And you'll just edit it. Because that was like perfect reality TV editing there.
That was like the little teaser for that episode. I think that's in the beginning of the episode. Yeah, that was an incident that happened coming out of Sedona where the doors slightly open and the jacket gets sucked out of the window. And I have talked to a couple different groups about that particular incident because it is a good example of like cockpit distraction and pilot and command authority and aeronautical decision making. All that kind of stuff is interesting to look at that scenario and think about it through that lens. But just as the pilot, it was definitely pretty unnerving because the jacket was outside in the slipstream and it was making the stabilator shake. The whole airplane was shaking, and I thought something was wrong with the engine. And then we ended up coming back to land and it was okay. But it was definitely it got my blood pressure up a little bit and kept me on my toes.
It's weird that happened to you because I feel like everyone who's ever flown a Cherokee, or I've never flown a Cherokee 6, but I used to fly a Cherokee 180, and that door never locked. Like I don't know how many times that door wouldn't latch correctly, and I would have a similar situation, have to come back and just to latch it. So maybe that's just like a Cherokee ownership rite of passage.
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people, and so many stories from people about, I was on my check ride and the door flew open. It was my first solo and the door flew open. Cessnas and Pipers mostly is what the stories are. But my particular airplane has, it's high time airframe, and the door doesn't totally shut great. And I've replaced the hardware, the eye bolts and clevis pins, and I moved the strike plates, and I've tried to make it the best that it can be. It's still like there's a little bit of a gap anyway. It's just so small. You can see a little light come through. It's a lot better than it used to be. But when you don't really pull the door and make sure it's closed, the gap will be big enough to like suck long hair out of it or suck a jacket out or whatever.
That's why you need to, you wouldn't be able to go anywhere with it or with your whole family, but you just need to fly a Piper Cub because then the doors just open all the time.
Yeah.
It can't open on you if it's already open.
Maybe I should also have one of those.
Well, here's the deal. For what you invested in your cross-country plane, you could get a couple Piper Cubs.
That would be awesome.
So maybe that should be next, and you can go really slowly up to Sedona or whatever.
Yeah, I've been in a Cub a long time ago. It's maybe 20 years ago, once, and it was really awesome. It was really fun. I'd like to get into the low and slow flying and like the backcountry stuff more eventually. Right now, like we're focused on the trips with the kids and stuff, but I think that would be so fun. I see YouTube videos on that. I'm like, man, I want to do that too. There's a lot of stuff.
Dude, I want to do all the stuff. Pilot Annie just showed up. Another guest from a couple weeks ago. Hey, Pilot Annie, good to see you. Thanks for coming. I know you're busy on Wednesdays. She flew all around in the Canadian backcountry in a pipistrel, which is like this little light sport, super efficient thing. And I'll talk to her and I'll be like, okay. Like to my little Facebook group, I'll be like, guys, I need to get a pipistrel. That's what I want. I want to go really, really fast, but like efficient. That's what I want. And then I'll like watch like your videos and be like, okay, no, actually I need like a 6-seater because I want to take my family places and do stuff. And then I'll watch like a Trip Palmer video. Like, okay, I need a Kit Fox because I want to land on a mountain and race chickens. And so it's like, and then now I want to do powered paragliding, and I need more gigs. I need to land more gigs. So
if they could only make an airplane that could transform itself into like, this is good for this. It's also good for this. Because every airplane's a compromise, You need like the Transformer airplane.
We just solved it.
There it is.
Well, you just solved it. You deserve the credit. You just solved it. We're going to make that.
That's it. Done
It'll
deal.
turn into a robot like that anime stuff I used to watch when I was a kid. Like
Perfect.
It's like a F-14 that's a robot. All right. Anyway, Zach's wondering about your plane. He wants to know about cruise speeds. How's that for a segue? What cruise speed are you at there, Eric?
So the 6 cruises, I have like the laminar flow speed mods and like the knots to you wing root seal, I think. And it cruises at about 140 knots, like rich of peak at like 8 to 9,000 feet. And if I go lean of peak, it's about between 130 and 135 knots, depending on how it's loaded.
So that's pretty good.
It's all right. It's not a super fast airplane.
But it's also like a pickup truck.
Yeah. And the thing about that airplane is that it's so comfortable. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, maybe when my kids are off in college, like I'll downsize. I'll sell that and like downsize to a 4-seater. But the width of the 6 is so nice, and we pull the middle row out, and for making it a 4-person airplane, the passengers stretch their legs out. It's just so comfortable. It's kind of like, oh, all right, it's a little slower and a little less fuel efficient. Not terrible, but it's just so comfortable, and it's so capable, and the useful load is so good that it just is really versatile in that way at the sacrifice of the speed and the fuel efficiency, but that's okay.
I think what's competitive to it? It's also kind of in this like weird niche, like it was like Bonanzas.
Yeah, I guess the Bonanzas, and then the really expensive, the new Pipers that are like, the 6-seaters. I don't even look at them because I'm like, oh no way, I remember getting that, the Meridian or whatever. Sure. Yeah, those like. Somebody told me they're still making some 6-seaters, but I guess. But yeah, you kind of can't beat it for useful load and cost and useful load and comfort, I think. maybe 210s. I'm not sure.
And Marty's asking in the chat your cruise fuel burn.
Yeah, so Rich is like, I guess about 15 to 15 and a half, and lean would be about 12 to 12 and a half.
There you go. That's not bad that's not bad. I just keep thinking
bad.
about all the stuff you could put in that.
I mean, it's like $4 a gallon to burn like 13 gallons an hour is like, it's not too bad. Spending whatever, 50 to $60 an hour on fuel going around.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to ask you about this. So you've done all these adventures with your family, and I'm wondering if because we were talking about like #PilotDad earlier, which I think we should actually figure if we can get that trending next week during Spirit. Not that we need more like men strutting around in aviation. But is there you've got so many amazing family trips. Is there anything like favorite one? Just like favorite aviation memory with the family?
Well, Sedona, the Sedona video that I made is like the most personal video for me. And that's one of my favorite places that we fly. This time, I never made a video about Sedona where we also did like a side day trip to the Grand Canyon, which is probably my favorite thing because we were staying in Sedona for like 5 days. And then we said like, we're going to get up really early. We'll fly to the Grand Canyon. We'll take the shuttle in. We'll do the Grand Canyon. Then we'll fly back to Sedona in the evening. And we did that. And it was so amazing. But yeah, the Sedona video is my favorite one just because it's like the most personal one. As far as we go there, and it's like a retreat and escape from the city, and it's just a really, really great place, kind of a magical place for us. So I love it there. That's probably my favorite aviation memory with them. I mean, it also is where the jacket thing happened, so it's very memorable for that.
I want to play a game with you in a minute, but I think you sent me a clip of that too, and I think I'm going to play it just to show people a little bit of what you're talking about when you guys were hiking and stuff. So let me show folks that, and then we're going to play, for those that are waiting for it, if you're down with it, Eric. I don't even know if I talked to you about this. There's a little bit of a game show aspect to this in a minute.
Okay,
if you're
let's
down.
do it.
All right,
Yeah.
let me show this little video here.
John Muir said, "Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop away from you like the leaves of autumn." And this is why, year after year, we come back to Sedona. They say Sedona has energy vortexes, mysterious cosmic forces of swirling energy. I don't know about any of that, but Sedona always has such a great vibe for us. It's our place to reconnect, to slow down a little bit, and breathe deeply.
Guys! You're such a turd! That went right by my face! Oh, it went in my jacket.
It's a place that will embrace you when you're dressed in a reindeer onesie.
Hey, enjoy Sedona. Thank you so much.
You want to watch us scare the out of
No,
you?
no, please. Stop. I can't look. I can't watch.
Please, guys. I'll take the picture with you over here. Please. Please. I'm not even kidding. It freaks me out.
He gets really, really scared.
I wish you guys could. So Eric and I were just talking about this clip as it was playing, and I realized I wish you could have heard the conversation we had. It was this very heartfelt conversation about like dreams and loving our families and how to show that sort of stuff. But that, I guess, Eric, the reason I wanted to show that before we wrapped up tonight is because we were talking about it at the beginning, but just like, I think what I love about your content, and I love about what your channel has a great breadth, right? There's a lot of like really good like pilot nerd stuff in there. We talked about like your avionics videos or the renovation video, and then there's this other like why do we do it type side of it. And those types of moments, I think, are a reminder of like aviation is hard. Right? It's like if it was easy, everyone would do it, and I think you have to have a reason to want, and like those moments for me are like watching what you and your family do is like just fills me with such joy, and so I appreciate you sharing that.
I think that's an interesting thought, and I think it takes a lot of work to get a private pilot license. It takes a lot of work to like research to buy an airplane. It takes a lot of work to research to sell an airplane and to buy another one and to renovate it and to get an instrument rating, right? And what is the reason to do all these things, right? Yeah. The reason is so you can fly your airplane around, but like flying your airplane around by yourself is like whatever. It's fun, but it ends at a certain time, and then sharing it with your family and creating memories and experiences, to me that's what it's about. And again, like I'm hoping the channel also transcends, like it doesn't have to be an airplane. The airplane is just the excuse here, and it's super fun, and there's so much fun stuff to like nerd out about, but the idea is to like get out there and do fun stuff and be adventurous with your family. And the airplane obsession is just like, the excuse and a fun way to like frame the whole thing and something different to do.
Absolutely, man. All right, before I start crying because you're hitting me in the feels tonight, can we play a silly little game before we sign off for the night? Would that be all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so this game's called Short Final. I should trademark that, maybe.
I'm so nervous about this game.
No, it's a dumb game, man. So here's the deal. So if you never watched before, or Eric to teach you,
I watched it.
No, okay. For the folks in the audience, Short Final is just like, it's a minute. I'm gonna rattle off a couple questions, and we're gonna just dig in deep into, as if we haven't already. We're gonna dig deep into Eric's brain, stream of consciousness answers. So don't get on me about the clock. I always mess up the clock, guys, but we do our best over here. It's literally just me and a lot of buttons. So take it easy. All right, let me get the timer up here. There she is. Let's get our epic music going, and we're gonna play a quick round of Short Final. You gotta get the hat ready. You gotta get adjusted. Gotta get your shimmy in your seat. All right, here we go. And we gotta hit this button here. All right, Eric. First, you're a cinematographer. Ari or Red?
Both.
Oh, okay, right. And your channel SoCal Flying Monkey. What's your favorite kind of monkey?
Chimpanzee.
All right.
Well, it's not a monkey. That's an ape.
Oh! Okay.
I'll go with the capuchin monkey.
Whoa! All right, everyone Google that later. Okay. Let's see. All airplanes should be what color?
White.
Favorite warbird?
I pass. I'm not like a warbird expert.
That's all right. Highest altitude you've ever been at?
Well, with my plane, 12.5.
Nice. Okay. Favorite in-flight snack?
Oh, like 7-Eleven protein bars from like somewhere in the middle of the country on a long trip.
Okay. And let's see. What's the last one I could ask? Okay. If you, other than the aircraft, you have other favorite civilian aircraft?
Oh, other favorite civilian aircraft. Oh man, I like the Pilatus and TBM. That's awesome.
I can tell based on your mission why those would be appealing to you.
Yeah, those are super cool.
All right, I gotta go Google. Wait, what one's the capuchin monkey? What is that? Well, what
I
is
don't
that?
know. Just popped into my head. I don't know.
I hope it's a cool one.
I think it's cool. I think he has like the I think he has like a little white patch on top.
Oh right,
maybe.
like it's like the
So
a pirate would have it.
Was it like a patch of white? I'm not sure. Yeah.
All right, someone go Google that and tell us what that looks like. Oh, Brian says it's the monkey from Night at the Museum.
Oh, there you go. That's an annoying monkey, though.
Well, I mean, you said it on the.
I did. It's my fault. I mean, I wish we could classify chimpanzees as monkeys, but because they're the best.
All right. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My dog thinks this is hilarious too. All right, guys. Any last questions for Eric before we? This has been Monkey Chat with Eric and Ryan.
Right. I didn't know we were going to get so far into the scientific species of monkeys and stuff.
All right. Looks like there's a Wikipedia link for the capuchin monkey for everyone in the chat.
I'm afraid of what I just did.
You're gonna have to get. This is it. You got to like put a nose art on your airplane. Anyway, Eric, I gotta tell you, man, it's been awesome getting to know you tonight. I appreciate you coming on the channel. Yeah, Marty says SoCal Flying Chimpanzee just doesn't have the same ring to it. I agree.
No, it doesn't. You're right.
And then I'm gonna let one more question through before we wrap up, because this is an interesting one. Zach Sherman apparently has been stalking you on. Whoops, there we go. On this one, he's been stalking you on Flight Radar 24, and he says, "How was your flight a few days ago?"
Where did I go a few days ago? I probably went to Santa Paula to have my pedostatic check in the 6, because it's due, and it was awesome. It's a great airport. If you ever get a chance to go to Santa Paula, it's this like little airport near Camarillo. It's like a 15-20 minute flight, and it's up against the mountains, and it's a lot of cool airplanes flying out of there, a lot of tailwheel airplanes and stuff. So it's a good vibe over there.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
See now, and Zach, you can follow our airplane. I just got out of getting an overhaul, and it literally was just doing circles for hours as we got the first 10 hours done to try to get the break-in done, or the first part of the break-in done. So less exciting to watch on Flight Radar, or maybe more. I don't know. All right, Eric, dude, this has been awesome. I hope that we get to fly together sometime. Maybe I can get out west.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Or if you're ever, maybe next year before Osh, if we have to wait that long, you can come hang out at Timmerman, just south of Oshkosh, and yeah, it'd be good to get together. But thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. If anybody wants to catch up with me, you can find me on Instagram at SoCal Flying Monkey, patreon.com/SoCal Flying Monkey for all that bonus stuff, and yeah, super fun to connect with you and with everybody else. So thanks for having me.
Rock on. All right, cool. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us on another Wednesday night, SuperAero Live. Love you guys in the chat. You're all great. Remember to make sure to share this episode with everybody. Check out all the stuff we talked about at the top. And tune in next week for Spirit of Aviation Week. I hope you guys really get into that. I know the folks at EAA a little bit, and they're working really hard at making something cool for us, even though we can't be all together in person this year. So check that out. We'll have a little show next week, Wednesday night, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.